Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Overanalyzing PROS, where a game is basically the cow and the game is offering information, and we are going to try to milk as much information out of that cow. I will use specific vocabulary and I will assign them to specific moments, to specific scenarios. And so the goal of this is to basically get very good at analyzing games, and also we could use this analyzing skills outside of Clash Royale, but for now let's focus on the game. Yeah, let's get into it. One very interesting point that I like to give you in this video is what I call cycle generation. That is basically when you place a card, you start the cycle generation, and then you're basically in the first generation of your cycle inside the game. And so you play certain cards until you are back at that card, and then one cycle generation has passed in that game of your deck. Depending on how cheap your cards are, you will cycle quicker, you will have a faster passing of generations basically. And when we name it that way, we can basically know that that generation of your deck, it doesn't have to have the goal to do as much damage as possible. It can have different goals, for example, destabilizing the cycle of the enemy, or it can have the goal of gaining slight elixir advantages. And maybe only your 7th cycle generation has the intention or the possibility to let you do a lot of damage. So that's very interesting, a cycle generation. I will maybe get back to it later, so just a very interesting point right there. So if we look at the deck right now, we see that we will call this red side because it will be the red side, and this will be the blue side. And so he's playing basically a beatdown deck, I think you can call it, and this is like I think chip damage, we can call this chip damage deck. Yeah. And what kind of answers does each other have over their deck? He could maybe play Giant on this thing. He has Dark Prince, which is very good because it has splash damage or area damage. He has also Bomb, which is very good against his main win condition. And then yeah, what does Mo have against this brass type guy? He has a tower, which is really good. This has splash damage, which is also really good because those Dark Princes will be mostly behind the Giant. And he also has skeletons, which are really useful for stopping their charge attack, and but it can be very dangerous because he can use the bomber on the lane, which can be very dangerous for Mo, but yeah, I think he will be prepared. Yes, and he has Magic Archer, which is very insane if he dares to put the Giant on top of at the back, you know, but it can also be predicted. Never mind, let's start the game. So now we will go crazy with our vocabulary. I have prepared some vocabulary. First up, let's start with elixir vocabulary. I have damage value, so that means how much damage the enemy has done or you have done. Then I have potential value, that means how much elixir do you have right now. Then we have active value, that means how much elixir is on the field. And then we have total value, which combines how much is on the field and how much elixir you have. So yeah, now we will try to analyze things. Well, they have these cards, and why wouldn't he place, for example, instantly giant at the back? I don't know. Why wouldn't he just place magic archer right here? How could he start the match? If, for example, Light could just place the skeletons in the back and it wouldn't be punishable. So it's the beginning of the match and they both don't want to do too much, which could bring them into punishable situations. So they will most likely wait it out or do place cards that are not so heavily elixir costly. Yeah, they Mo places the skeletons and Brass places the bomber. So he plays the log to neutralize, a nice word, neutralize this danger mostly. And he plays the Dark Prince. I assume these players know what kind of decks they're playing against because they often meet each other many times, I think. So he played the Dark Prince. This is basically an active value right now because it's in the game on the map. So basically this will become soon deactivated. If it's on the map, it's active, and if it's off the map, it's inactive. It's basically deactivated. So Mohamed Light basically has an active value here and an active value here. Three active value, 3 elixir active value here, 4 here. Kawa has 3 elixir here and 4 here, but it's almost deactivated. So oh, okay, that's interesting. So Kawa basically spent 5 elixir to stop the magic archer instantly, because that would have done a lot more shots. Maybe he had to spend that much elixir as fast as possible, because the more damage he gets early, the more problematic it will be for the red side. Definitely we can see they're pretty even on elixir right now, and Kawa has active active elixir advantage on the map, but it's pretty useless because he has I think it will not hit a shot on the tower. Yeah, so basically 1 elixir generation has passed, I think. Not yet. Now, yes, for Kawa it has passed. 1 elixir generation has passed, and the outcome of that first generation for him is a little bit of damage, and elixir wise they're pretty much the same. So what else can we say here? That yeah, he has done again a not so punishable attack with not so punishable card placement. What also is interesting that he hasn't played his win condition. So maybe Mo knows exactly about the cycle generation, or maybe it's a different word for them. I don't know, but he knows that it isn't the smartest play to just go with his what is the word? I forgot the name of this drill. Drill. So he used the log against the bomber, which neutralizes him mainly if he doesn't support it more. Then he uses the knight and the combo. Yeah, okay, here Kawa places the Mega Man on the left side, where it's basically not really much punishable, unless, yeah. And here Mo has limited options. Seems kind of a bad situation. Okay, that was really smart. He didn't. Oh, damn. That was crazy. I wonder. Damn. So he let that hit. So he activated his tower because that offers him to save a lot of elixir each cycle generation of the enemy's card. When cycle generation is passed, you know, he will end up with a positive elixir because he needs less elixir to defend because of his tower. And it was very interesting that he didn't place them in front. He avoided the prediction with the rage spell. So when you never mind, I don't want to go too hard on this. So when we look at this right now, we notice that another cycle generation has passed. He's back to his bomber, and after the second cycle generation, we see that Mo ends up with a bit more damage, or the blue side ending up with more damage taken, but also activated King Tower. And if we think about it, that we will have multiple cycle generations, then we know that having an active King Tower is very beneficial, because we can build up positive elixir. We can build up elixir advantage and use that advantage on a later cycle generation attack. So yeah, let's go further inside. Most likely bomber in the back, or giant, I think, at some point. Maybe, why wouldn't he place giant in the back? Like, is he, I think he's afraid that he will go with magic archer or something like that. Or maybe he's also afraid of, or maybe he just waited for his bomber to be evil, because he can be used as very useful in the attack. Why is he putting it on the left side? Why would he put it on the left side? Maybe that forces him to go other side too, because this is a beatdown deck, you know. And this is also the next very interesting point. It's what I call a def attack. Def standing for defense and attack for attack. So def attack, and so basically the cards defend first and then they attack. And that pattern of defending and then attacking is very useful in what they mostly use in beatdown decks, which this guy is playing. So that means he could be forced to go the same lane as Mohammed to have very strong def attacks. And for Mo, it would be smarter to switch lanes, so because this side already has taken some damage. And so he forces the enemy to go on the left side, because then he cannot build up heavy pushes. Yeah. Very interesting realization right there, I think. So again, same pattern, Dark Knight and the Mega Minion. Why Dark Knight? I really don't know. So he started placing his first Goblin Drill for some reason. And for some reason on the right, I don't know why exactly. I thought he would forcing him on to go to the left side. The enemy counters it with a Prince, which is, I think, a little bit bad. The enemy could have saved his Dark Prince for the Goblin Drill. Maybe Mohammed on purpose waited for the Goblin Drill usage until he has used his Dark Knight again, because the Prince has tick damage. It hits one thing. It doesn't have area damage. Dark Prince is way more useful against the Goblin Drill. So probably very smartly on purpose for Mohamed Light, because he's the world champion. So now he places his giant, and yeah, this was what I was talking about. Beatdown decks usually use the pattern of death attack. So as the cards that they play for defense, they will use also as offense. And so basically, the more you invest into pushing them, the more they will invest into defending, and you will have less elixir because you spend a lot on attacking, and they will have a lot of active value because cards are placed. That is active value, and a lot of potential value because they will also have elixir and add certain cards. And yes, death attack. Keep that in mind. It's very interesting. Yeah. What is also interesting, he has placed his bomber up there, which Mohamed Light sort of predicted, and that's why he placed the card, the tower card further down here, which is very smart. Yes, very, very clean defense. Places of Dark Prince in the back. So this is very interesting. Why did he pick that pattern? Why did he pick Magic Archer? And he also placed the Magic Archer first here, and then the the Prince to tank for the tower, because then Mohamed Light can use these little goblins that spawned to do a death attack, defending and attacking first. And he has to do something, or has to respond some way. He responded with arrows and rage spell, which does sort of two things, but not that much, like kill the cards and speed up the attack of him. Why did he place that? He aligned, he placed this tower right here so that these cards, so that this bomber, I don't know what the name of this car is, shoots them multiple targets at once because it has area damage, and uses the log because it pushes them off a little bit. Oh, and it also stops the charge from the Prince, which is pretty useful. And Mo also used the Prince right here to tank for the goblins. Now he has way more death value. It's very, very fascinating. He built this up all. And yeah. So 1 second. Did he again placed his bomber? So what we see right now is basically another cycle generation has passed, maybe multiple. I didn't really watch it fully. I don't remember it completely. But we see again the bomber and certain cards. It doesn't always have to be the bomber, but this will be our sign for this time. Another cycle generation has passed, and this time Mo ended up with much more damage having done, almost I think no damage being done on him. And yes, very interesting. What could have done? What could he have done better at this point? He tries to switch lanes, or maybe he's using this cycle generation to force him to do certain things, you know, to spend more elixir on that side, to not have that much def attack push for this lane, for the right side lane. And yeah, Mo punishes with a straight attack because he has a little, yeah, he plans to use a magic archer, but interesting. Yeah, I mean, he planned to use that. This time he dared to use the skeletons in the middle, which the other times he didn't dare to do. I mean, he maybe on purpose didn't do it because, you know, can be very deadly. The enemy also tried to expect it when he placed the bomber. Did that do death damage near that? Damn, what the fuck? No, it didn't. Or did it? No, it didn't. So this is again defense cards. They defend it, and now they do a def attack. Def, defense, attack. After defense, the attack. So here's a very dangerous push coming. Let's slow this down a little bit. So why did he place the cards there where he placed them? On one hand, this bomber will do splash damage on all of them while he's attacking and when he dies. So that will damage all of these. He placed this archer here, so he does area damage on all three of them, which is also interesting. And he uses log to slow down the princes. Now the enemy plays rage spell, which is not that effective, not leading him to the tower, and he's back to another tower. So with 30 seconds left, does not look good for them. This looks very dangerous, very dangerous. Somehow survived it. Okay, that was insane. How on earth did he survive that? I will go back and match and see that again, because how on earth did he defend that? I will also make a video introducing certain vocabulary. How did he dare to do that? Did he have also already a big elixir advantage? That's 5 elixir, 4 elixir, 3 elixir. 5, 9, and that's 2 elixir, 11, and here's 16 elixir, and he has what, 5, 9, 12, and yeah, I think it's pretty even on elixir. He has like a little bit more value on the map. And he just used log and drone. Maybe it wasn't even that necessary to be that aggressive because he already had the winning position. But how on earth did he defend this? This looked so crazy. So we have all these cards and we need area damage, which can be offered through the death of this card and through normal damage of that card. He can use the tower. so very interesting. Then he was just stalling till the game is over, and that's it. That's the first game. I think we will leave it at that. But that's 23 minutes. God damn. Well, bye bye.